We are going to do a quick review on adding and subtracting fractions and mixed numbers. Please follow along. You don't have to write this down unless you'd like to. The first problem that we're going to do is an adding fractions problem. We have 9/10 plus 5/6. The biggest thing to remember when you are adding and subtracting fractions is you have to find a common denominator. Between 6 and 10, our lowest common denominator is 30. Some of you may think it's 60, but if I find least common multiples of 6 and 10, my least common multiple is 30, so I know that they both go into 30. I would have to times 10 by 3, so I'd have to times this whole fraction by 3 to get the equivalent fraction, which would be 27/30ths, plus, and over here I'd have to multiply by 5, plus 25/30ths. Now all I have to do is add straight across the top. 27 plus 25 is 52, and my denominator stays the same, 52/30ths. I can't leave it like this because this is an improper fraction. In order to simplify it, I will pull out one whole, so that's 30/30ths. I will make one whole, and I'm left with 22/30ths. This can still be simplified because they are both even, and I end up with 1 and 11/15ths. The next type of problem that we're going to look at is subtracting fractions. You're going to follow the same steps. First, you need to find a common denominator. Between 4 and 5, the common denominator is 20. Over here, I need to multiply by 4 to get there. So 4 times 4 is 16/20ths, minus, over here I need to multiply by 5, and I get 15/20ths. Now I just subtract my numerators. I end up with 1, and my denominator stays the same, 20th. So my answer is 1/20th, and I can't simplify this any further. Next, we're going to adding mixed numbers. You do not need to change your mixed numbers into improper fractions. You just need to find a common denominator. The common denominator between 6 and 8 is 24. So 6 and 5/6 will turn into 6 and 20/24ths, plus 2 and 9/24ths. First thing I'm going to do is add my whole numbers. My whole number 6 plus 2 gives me 8. And then I'm going to add my fraction together. 20 plus 9 gives me 29/24ths. I can't leave it like this because 29/24ths is an improper fraction. I'm going to take one whole out and give it to the whole number, so that'll bring me up to 9 wholes, and I will be left with 5/24ths. Some of you may like to set up your adding and subtracting of mixed numbers vertically instead of horizontally, so you can do 6 and 20/24ths plus 2 and 9/24ths. So you can add 6 plus 2 is 8, and 20 plus 9 is 29/24ths. If that works better for you, then you can go ahead and use that method. I will show that method subtracting. Subtracting mixed numbers, we'll use the same process, finding a common denominator between 5 and 10. The common denominator is 10, so I will take 4 and 9/10ths, that can stay the same, minus 3 and, oopsies, not 2/5ths, 3 and 4/10ths. I can take 4 minus 3, which is 1, and 9 minus 4 is 5/10ths. This is not simplified. 5 goes into both 5 and 10, so I end up with 1 and 1/2. The last thing we're going to look at with adding and subtracting is subtracting with regrouping, when you can't take the first number minus the second number. So right here I have 7 and 13/20 minus 4 and 9/10. My common denominator is 20. So I will stick with 7 and 13/20 minus 4 and 18/20. I can see that I have a problem right now. I can't take 13 minus 18. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to regroup. I'm going to have to borrow one whole from the number 7, and that will become 6. And I have to put that one whole into my fraction. Since we're working in 20ths here, one whole would be equal to 20/20. If I add 20/20 to 13/20, I end up with 33/20. So 7 and 13/20 and 6 and 33/20 are the same thing. They have the same value, they're just written differently, so we can subtract. Minus 4 and 18/20. Now I'll have an easier time subtracting. 6 minus 4 is 2. 33 minus 18 comes out to 15/20. I can simplify that because 5 goes into both 15 and 20, and I end up with 2 and 3/4.